was 23, I fell in love. The object of my affection, Tom, was 8 years older, separated from his first wife, and the father of a little girl, Allie. Tom's first marriage had been disastrously unhappy and short, less than 20 months, just long enough to develop intense mutual hatred and bring a child into the world. Allie's mom moved out with her when Allie was 9 days old. The divorce that followed went beyond acrimonious. When Allie's mom displayed bizarre, vindictive behavior, Tom told people, including me, "My ex-wife is crazy." In that way, people say their ex-wife is crazy, which is what we thought it was at the time. Allie was 3 when her dad and I got married, a sweet, blue-eyed little wisp of a thing. I loved her. When she came to our house, we baked cookies, made sand castles, had Candyland marathons. I read her Madeline over and over and rubbed her back as I sang her to sleep. When she was 4, I heard her tell her 5-year-old best friend in the neighborhood that I wasn't her mom. "She's my Stacy," Allie said. "Don't you have a Stacy?" When the neighborhood girl answered no, Allie said, "I feel sorry for you." Over time, things changed. Allie's mom canceled visits last minute, repeatedly. Phone calls went unanswered. Doors slammed in our faces, or worse, no one home at all. A job relocation took us hours away, and then all visits had to be scheduled and confirmed in writing through our lawyers. Tom and I had 2 children together. Allie came for summer vacations and holidays. The Christmas she was 8, she brought her treasures for a visit: Puffy the stuffed dog, her favorite books, her pillow, and she asked to come live with us. Our attorney told us, without proof the mom's unfit, no judge in the world will take her away. We had no proof. Allie stayed put. When Allie was 13, her mom called with sad news. She, Allie's mom, had ovarian cancer and uterine cancer. Tom and I talked to Allie about the cancer, her worries and fears, and hugged her when she cried. 2 years later, woken by a phone call at dawn, we found out the crazy was real. Tom's ex-brother-in-law asked us to come get Allie immediately. She was in danger, he said. Allie's mom was out of control, violent, and delusional. Diagnosed with bipolar or possibly schizoaffective disorder, she'd been self-medicating with alcohol and drugs for years. The family had tried everything: multiple rehabs, psych wards, electroconvulsive therapy. She was beyond hope. "All this on top of the cancer?" I asked. "Cancer? What cancer?" His exact words, "There's no cancer." We learned that from about age 9, Allie had been buckled in alongside her mom on a roller coaster of life, moving from apartment to apartment, in and out of her grandmother's house when her mom hit the rails, was in jail, or had to be hospitalized. The cancer story was a cover-up, authored by Allie's mother and grandmother. Allie had played a critical role, learning to lie with complete sincerity, crying on cue. If Tom and I had known the truth, Allie told us later, they feared we would have taken Allie away, and her mother needed her. Without Allie, there would be no reason for her mom to get well. This time, Allie did not want to live with us, but it was the only option. From age 15 to 18, her dad and I would have full custody, limited visits with her mom. Raising a teenager is difficult. Raising a sad and angry teenager who's been ripped from her world, well, let's just say there weren't enough parenting books at Barnes & Noble, or the right ones, to get us through unscathed. And I consulted a lot of books. And I made my share of mistakes. There were some good times, happy times. There were also fights and tears and glimpses into Allie's old world. Once Allie told me that her favorite food growing up was soup. She explained that when she was little, her mom used to disappear for days, so Allie learned to stockpile soup. The heartier, the better. She learned to cover for her mom's absences, lying to us and asking other kids' parents for rides to school or the movies. Listening to Allie, I felt guilt and pity, the very emotions she was telling me she'd learned to evoke. I realized that manipulating people was how she survived. Another time, when I caught Allie in a lie and asked her to apologize, she told me her mom had always said, "Love means never having to say you're sorry." How her mom had repeated those words after pushing Allie down the stairs for draining all the alcohol into the kitchen sink. When Allie was 16, her mom died of a heroin overdose. Allie was devastated. She sat next to me on the couch, shaking, head in her hands, repeating, "I should have been there. I knew this would happen," over and over. Hoping to find something she might have left for Allie, Tom and I went to her mother's apartment. The detective at the medical examiner's office had told us to be careful of contamination. "There's blood and piles of stuff everywhere," he said. "Don't reach in." Naively armed with Playtex gloves, we crossed the downed yellow police tape to find the chaos of a life unraveled. Nothing where it should be. Bloody towels, broken glass, needles, unwrapped Tampax, scorched spoons. This was what she left for Allie. In over my head, I bought more books, Parenting Through Crisis and Motherless Daughters, The Legacy of Loss. All of us, Allie, Tom, me, our 2 young children, were affected by this legacy, which was hard. When my previously happy-go-lucky 8-year-old son solemnly asked if he could talk to somebody when I tucked him in one night, I wanted to scream. Every member of the family ended up in therapy. We all tried, including Allie, but in the end, she longed for her old life. At 18, she moved back in with her grandmother into her mom's old room. "Graham is my family," Allie said, "and she needs me." Tom was angry. I was sad, frustrated, but to be honest, I was also relieved. I thought Tom and I, our kids, could heal and move on. The next year, 2005, when she was 19, Tom and I held Allie's first intervention. Arrested for drug possession and assaulting a police officer, rehab was an alternative to serious jail time. As Allie put it, some fucking choice. From 19 to 27, Allie was using weed, salvia, oxy, mushrooms, LSD. Between her second and third rehab, she became a meth addict. The third intervention involved a threat of hospitalization when she tried to jump from a moving car. According to Allie, if her dad and I hadn't interfered, she'd still be with a boyfriend from rehab too. Well, except for that he was on his way to prison because of the fucking cops. The fucking cops, the fucking judge who issued an arrest warrant when she missed one goddamn court date, the fucking lawyer that stopped working just because she used the money we'd sent for him to pay the rent, the fucking psychologists who make her feel bad about herself. It's always someone else's fault, and Allie is owed by everyone and anyone. Her grandmother, her boyfriend, her friends, her father, me. She deserves a car, a phone, insurance, and a haircut, and she really feels it would help if she could throw herself a party this weekend, because her birthday was such a downer and no one really loves her. But if you could just float her another $500, she could get her license back and maybe even get a job, if it wasn't for that fucking arrest warrant. The fucking arrest warrant is a hot button. We've been trying to help her deal with it for 2 years. Bringing it up, though, can detour the whole conversation. "Why do you always want to bring me down?" she'll say. "I'm trying so fucking hard and I don't have any friends." Followed immediately by, "If it weren't for my friends, I wouldn't survive." Which slips into, "I did what you told me to do even though I didn't want to, and now you're like changing what you said." Of course, Allie hasn't done what anyone said she should do. She's just saying she did, which, perhaps to her, is the same thing. It's hard to know what reality and truth mean to her. She lies when she doesn't even need to. Emotions are mercurial. Plot lines twist and diverge. We see parallels to her mother we wish weren't there. It's an impossible relationship, with layers of anger, guilt, loss, futility. Allie is dependent on us because she can't escape her shitty dysfunctional childhood, mental illness she won't acknowledge, addiction issues, and the sticky duality of idolizing her dead mother and fearing she's becoming just like her. Allie's unhealthy, thin, malnourished, her skin translucent, her nails gray. She's unhappy. She wants things to be different, and she promises this time they will be. And her dad and I, we can't escape either. We are bound to her by love and regret. We wonder what could have been if we had looked harder when she was 8. When she brought Puffy the stuffed dog and asked to come live with us. We grieve and cling to the hope that if we can just find that elusive right thing to say or do, we can still save Allie and save ourselves. We plead, we issue ultimatums, we sign agreements we know she won't honor so we can justify sending her checks. We leave messages, send texts and emails, waiting in vain for responses that won't come until the money runs out. Psychologists, counselors, and books tell us what we're doing is wrong. We know that in this particular symbiotic relationship, host is synonymous for enabler. And yet, I still see the little girl that loved Madeline in Candyland, the one who stockpiled soup. And I have such a hard time not believing that this time her promises are genuine and the hope is real.
That's VAMP first-timer Anastasia Zadeik.